Initial stake pool offerings is what a lot of Cardano DEXs are currently doing to distribute their tokens. But there's one that does it a bit differently, meaning it doesn't only airdrop their tokens, but it also wants to promote decentralization. What's up, my name is Caroline and this is Wealth in Progress, where you'll learn how to make passive income with cryptocurrencies. In this video, we'll look at Minswap. Now, this is another Cardano DEX that has come up with a very interesting solution to distribute their tokens. They'll also airdrop them just like the other DEXs do with their initial stake pool offerings, but they actually want to do it in the fairest way possible. This means that they aim to support existing small pools to encourage further decentralization. They then call it a fair initial stake pool offering, short FISO, which makes it a bit different from the other decentralized exchanges, ISOs or ISPOs. Now, I actually also wanted to show you how to use it on the testnet because it was the first Cardano dApp that was live on the testnet, but unfortunately that resulted in a few problems, and that in turn resulted in a bit of thought around Cardano. I'll make another video about that. Now, before we dive in, I've got some exciting news for you guys. The membership site that Kieran and I have been working on during the last few weeks will go live on September 9th. So we're finally coming to an end and we will finally be launching on September 9th. It's called the DFIRE Academy and it will be the place to support you on your journey towards decentralized financial freedom. We've got a few awesome spreadsheets ready for you, including an exit strategy, a list of all Cardano projects that is constantly updated, and we'll also share a lot of trading and market signals that will help you time the top. Now, we'll open the membership site up with a super early bird option that will give you a 50% discount. However, in this category, there will only be 20 spots. So if you're interested in getting in very early and profiting from this super steep discount, make sure to go ahead in the description and subscribe to my newsletter. We'll be sending a few emails just before the launch so that you don't miss it, and it will be first come first served. So if you want to get one of those 20 spots, go ahead and subscribe to my newsletter. All right, let's dive in. Alright, so this is Minswap's website, so let's quickly look through that. So they don't have a whole lot of information on their website, but they have a very good FAQ guide, so we'll go through that in a minute. So let's just quickly scroll through that. So we've got the roadmap here. We're currently in Q3. So they have just launched their fair initial stake pool offering. They've launched that on August 18th. So you can already stake in their pools, their determined pools, and then get their tokens airdropped to you. Then they've got the most important facts about them in here. So you can see here the fair launch. So this is their main characteristic at the moment. It says here, no pre-mine, no pre-sale, no VC. The only way to get the mint tokens is by participating in the protocol or airdrop. So they actually have two ways for you to earn their tokens. One is to stake your Cardano in their determined pools. So they have 10 pools at the moment. You can stake them in there and then receive their tokens as an airdrop. And they'll also airdrop tokens for people who are using their dApp on the testnet. Now, that's not possible right now, but once this will be live again, you can use that and test that, and this will also result in an airdrop. Then, as all the DEXs, they offer yield farming. And while we talk about that, let's quickly look at the tokenomics, because then you'll see that the majority of their tokens is actually reserved for yield farming. So if you go to documentation, then you get this guide, and you can see here the tokenomics. And you'll see that 70% is reserved for yield farming. So that's where they want to distribute their tokens in the main way. You can see that the airdrop, that only accounts for 2.5% of their tokens. We've got 6% for the treasury. And then we've got 10% for the team, 10% development fund, and 1.5% incentives and partnerships. Then another thing that they'll offer is a launch pool. So they will be offering their own initial DEX offerings for other tokens. Now, what's very important to them is that they're community first, so they really want to be a community-driven platform and focus around community, and that's why they also have such a vast majority of their coins that will be distributed among the community, either liquidity providers or people who stake in their pools. So that's very important to them. And then another interesting thing is that they'll be Ethereum compatible, so they'll have an ERC20 converter. And then again, we see the fair initial stake pool offering. You can also see their team is public, so if you go on team, you can look at their LinkedIn profiles or Twitter profiles. Otherwise, there is nothing too special about that DEX as it is right now. So what's really interesting is their fair initial stake pool offering as it is right now. So let's look at that next. So if you go to the top and click on FAQ and then you click on FISO on the left, then you'll get to their FAQ page, and that really is a very good guide for anything around the FISO. I'll leave that link in the description as well, so you can read through that in detail if you want that too. Now, what's the main characteristic about that fair initial stake offering is that they don't have their own pools, but they chose 10 small pools that they basically feature. So they actually explain that here. We instead feature 10 small stake pools to delegate towards, and we also have 15 pools in reserve. By participating, you increase the decentralization of the network. Doing so, you pay no fees, save for SPO margin fees, which are capped for participating pools. So they basically want to support small pools so that they also have enough stake in there, so that they also get blocks attributed to them, so that they can also pay out to their delegators. And you can see down here, this is the criteria that they have chosen, that they have decided on to choose their pools. So they only wanted single pool operators, so they didn't want to have pool operators who have 10 pools simultaneously, so they only wanted to have single pool, small pool operators. The pool size has to be between 100k and 2 million Cardano, so that's pretty small. So out of those 25 pools that they've chosen, they randomly chose the first 10 to be the first 10 main pools. And once those are full in their terms, and what they mean is once they reach 3 million Cardano in delegation. So 3 million Cardano in delegation, then they'll open up the 15 more reserve pools. So they don't want to wait until a pool is fully saturated, but once 3 million is hit for each stake pool, they'll offer another 15 so that they can really support those very small pools. So they've got two more interesting features listed down here. One is the whale limiter, and the other one is the smallest pool reward. So first of all, the whale limiter is basically means that the more token you stake in their pools, the less the rewards are percentage wise. So they make an example here for at 100,000 Cardano you get 100,000 points, and then for 1 million Cardano it's 328,000 points instead of 1 million points if it was gradually, and then for 10 million Cardano it is 2 million points. So that is just the more that you stake, the less you get, and that is to prevent huge whales coming in and snatching up all the tokens, because the amount that is distributed is only 2.5% of the total supply, so that's not a whole lot. Then the second interesting thing is the smallest pool reward, and what they'll do is that you get a 1.25x point multiplier for delegating to the smallest pool at the time of delegation. This multiplier will activate after 10 epochs and apply to all future epochs as long as the delegator stays in the same pool. So what that means is if you choose the smallest pool at the time of your first delegation, you will have to wait for 10 epochs until this activates this multiplier, but then it will stay the same regardless of the size of the pool in the future. Now again, as mentioned earlier, the FISO started on August 18th and the duration of it is 20 epochs. One epoch is 5 days, so this will be active until November 26th, I think. So you still got a lot of time to delegate to their pool, so if you want to get their token, you're definitely not too late, you can still do that now. Alright, so now you basically know how the FISO works. One more important thing is that you won't get their tokens directly into your wallet after each epoch, but what they'll do is after those 20 epochs are up, so that will be at epoch 305. Once that is up, they will announce where you can get your airdrop, where you can retrieve your airdrop. And then one thing I forgot to mention is that there's also a vesting schedule. So for the FISO, you see that in the tokenomics, you get two tokens, mint tokens and mint tokens. And both have a lockup period of 45 days and a 45-day vesting period. So this is definitely something that you need to hold for a bit of a long run. They also want people to interact with their platform, with their DEX, and not just grab their tokens and then run off. So that's actually a good sign, and it's just important to note that there is a bit of a waiting period involved. Alright, now you know everything about the FISO. Now let's look at the active pools and see how you can stake to their pools if you decide to do that. So in that FAQ section, you can see that there's a link. You can click here and get to all the active pools. And as you can see, those aren't like Minswap pools, but these are random pools that they have decided upon or that they have chosen with their criteria. And you can see on top you have they always list the smallest pool. So right now that's EU01. And if you decide to stake to that pool, you get that smallest pool incentivizer. So you will get 25% bonus, but only after 10 epochs. But after that, it will stay the same even if that pool becomes much larger. So you can see here they're listed by size. So even the smallest one is at almost 2 million. So they'll probably soon also open up their 15 other pools. But for right now, you can see the biggest one is at almost 30 million. So these ones, they've supported them and they've grown much bigger. And right now you could, for instance, stake to that. So all you have to do is you have to go to your wallet. For instance, your wallet, I found your the easiest, so I'll show you in there. And then you basically just have to enter that ticker. You can also click on learn more for each one and then you'll get to their Twitter page. All right, so now I'm in my Yara wallet, and as always, we have to go to delegation list and then you just have to enter the ticker. So that was EU01, and then we'll look for that, and that is that pool. You can also see that has the same link here. So you've got all this information. This looks like a pretty good pool. Actually, you can see it's a good ROA. So you'll actually get your Cardano tokens and the Minswap airdrop on top of that. And all of that looks pretty neat. So as always, you just have to delegate, click on delegate. Then that's all fine. You need to enter your password and then click on delegate. And that's it. So we can go to a dashboard. Okay, so this took a bit of time to update, but what you can see now, it always takes 3 epochs for the change to happen. So I've showed you how to stake to the Ray network in a previous video, so that's not even going to happen. Or well, actually it's going to happen for 2 epochs. And then after the 3 epochs have passed, it will go over to this stake pool that I've just chosen. Now, as mentioned earlier, it actually went live on the Cardano testnet on September 4th, and I've prepared this video about 2 days ago, so just after it went live, and I was excited to show you that as well. Unfortunately, they had to take that down in the meantime, and it cost a bit of FUD, so I'm gonna create another video about that. Now, instead of showing you Minswap on the testnet, instead you'll now get Baloo, because a couple of you guys asked for Baloo, so instead we'll look at Baloo now. Baloo? Baloo? Come. He's a bit sleepy. It took a while for him to wake up, right, sleepy boy? And that's actually pretty rare because he's actually a pretty hyperactive dog. You might have seen that in a few other videos, but right now he's a sleepy boy. Can you even see him? You can see his little tongue, right? Right, Baloo? Right? Oh, sleepy boy. All right, I think it's time for another nap for Baloo. If you like this video, hit the like button down below, share with your friends, and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! Baloo, gonna say bye? Bye! Oh, cutie bird. Mm-hmm.